Hi. One of the really cool things that started on the Bowery was the vaudeville hook. So if I go on too long, please pull me off here. You may throw popcorn and rotten fruit and vegetables. Any of that is great. I'm going to try to get through this really quick because I know you just want to see the movies. The Bowery Alliance of Neighbors works to preserve and protect and celebrate this remarkable street. At issue is the sudden influx of out-of-scale luxury towers, which are displacing residents and small businesses and also destroying the low-rise historic character of what is one of the country's most famous and significant streets. Indian footpath linked to Dutch New Amsterdam's outlying farms called Boweries, that's where the name comes from, lower stretch of the Boston Post Road. The Bowery is the city's oldest thoroughfare. Tap dance, minstrelsy, streetcars, Yiddish theater, vaudeville, Stephen Foster, Irving Berlin, beat literature, abstract expressionism, and punk rock all have a seminal connection to the Bowery, a street little known today beyond its later stage as a flophouse district. After the elegant 3,000-seat Bowery Theater was built in 1826, the street gradually became our major entertainment district. But unlike Broadway, it was affordable and embraced by the immigrant and working class communities that surrounded it. Liquor and theater tickets were cheap, and the dime museums, which featured freaks and circus acts, were affordable even to the newsboys. The cocky, brawling 19th century Bowery boys, not to be confused with the later film series from Hollywood, influenced American fashion, slang, and the poetry of Walt Whitman. Stephen Crane called the street the most interesting place in New York, and Dickens, on a trip to America, thought it was the most amazing thing that he saw was the African-American Masta Juba, who is considered the father of tap dancing. Though prejudice and stereotyping were as rampant on the Bowery as any place in America, expressed most negatively in the minstrel shows, all the ethnic groups were burlesqued there, and the wild, anything goes, anything accepted nature of the street, extending even to gays, some of the first gay bars were there, was as close to multiculturalism as the 19th century could get. While the Bowery has just been nominated to the National Register of Historic Places, there are few historic streets more vulnerable to the wrecking ball. And one little upbeat thing is yesterday we found out Landmarks Preservation Commission just made a landmark designation for 58 Bowery, which is that domed bank that's at 58 Bowery, corner of Canal and Bowery. Is there anybody in here that has never seen a Mae West film before? Okay, well, it looked like maybe 5 people, and you are the luckiest people in the audience tonight, because you're going to get a big kick out of She Done 'Em Wrong. And both of these films, while they kind of dabble in history, especially the film The Bowery, Hollywood wasn't so good sometimes with the historical facts, but they certainly give you a sense of history. And I, for one, would not be here tonight and would not have any interest in the Bowery probably if I hadn't, as a kid, grown up watching movies like we're going to see tonight. When Paramount filmed Mae West's scandalous play Diamond Lil, they changed the character names and the title to She Done 'Em Wrong to try to hoodwink the censors. They ostensibly cleaned up the script, though ostensibly cleaned up. West infused the film with double entendre zingers that she felt actually improved the original. She based her Lady Lou character on a real-life Bowery character, very much like the one in the film, with additional inspiration from the stage star Lillian Russell, who I'll show you in a minute, and Mae West's own mother, who was reputedly extremely beautiful. Her idea for this opposite attracts romance with the soul-saving Cary Grant came when she was doing research on the play, and she was riding down the Bowery in a carriage or a taxi, and she saw this guy come out of one of the missions, and she said he was like so handsome, she just couldn't believe it. And so she got the idea for the romance that you'll see tonight. And of course, the line that everybody thinks is, "Come up and see me sometime." Listen carefully, because that's actually not what she says. But the Bowery can claim to have, the greatest "come on," sexual line in history. Anyway, to make a long story short, this film became the #1 hit of 1933. It saved Paramount from bankruptcy, and Mae West and Cary Grant became stars. Like Mae West, Raoul Walsh knew the Bowery firsthand. His silent classic Regeneration was shot there, and the early talkie Oscar winner in Old Arizona has this great scene where Edmund Lowe is trying to seduce this woman, and in order to seduce her, he's enticing her with all these stories about the Bowery. "Yeah, I'm going to take you there," and it's really funny. Anyway, Walsh's The Bowery is pretty fast and loose with history, and it concocts this major conflict between the two local folk heroes, Chuck Connors and Steve Brody. The self-proclaimed mayor of Chinatown, Chuck Connors, spoke a bit of Mandarin and led staged slumming tours of rowdy Bowery bars and Chinatown opium dens. Steve Brody became famous for supposedly jumping off the Brooklyn Bridge, a daredevil stunt that actually did help him get his own saloon. If you've ever seen, there's a Bugs Bunny cartoon, Bowery Bugs, that's a lot of fun as well. The term doing a Brody, probably nobody remembers that anymore, but it was a term that was around for about 60 or 70 years, and it meant doing a daring stunt. In the film, toward the beginning, you're going to see these rival brawling firefighting gangs, and this is historically inaccurate. In 1865, the city established a salaried firefighting force, but it's still a lot of fun, as you'll see. Beware, one note about the film The Bowery, and to a lesser degree the Mae West film, there's definitely some pre-code stereotyping that is really heavy in the first 5 minutes of The Bowery. Both films tonight reference the notorious McGurk's Suicide Hall. This was a saloon that was so named after some prostitutes, actually, to kind of end their wretched lives, went into this McGurk's saloon, and after getting very inebriated, took carbolic acid, and one of them died, one of them was taken to the hospital, and then there were copycats that came along, and rather than keep a low profile, the owner cashed in on the tragedy by changing the name to Suicide Hall. And unfortunately for buffs of history, the building about 5 years ago, which was still standing, was torn down. So next time I'm sorry?
Torn down by the city.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And by the way, will you stand up back there? That's Carrie Culhane, architectural historian, who just submitted like a book-length nomination of the Bowery to the National Register of Historic Places, and she's now, most of you have seen the Mae West film tonight. If you don't know your vaudeville history, one of her best laughs is going to be funnier for you tonight if you didn't already know who the Cherry Sisters were. And I'm not going to give away when she delivers the line or the context. But anyway, the Cherry Sisters were reputed to be the worst act in vaudeville. And they were these 5 singers, young singers from the Midwest. And their act was so bad, in fact, they were hired because it was one of those acts so bad it's funny that people enjoyed how horrible it was. And as somebody over here was referencing, they would throw rotten fruits and vegetables and heckle the Cherry Sisters. So anyway, when it shows up, it's much funnier if you know about that. A few other things in these films tonight. They reference saloon smasher Carrie Nation, boxer John L. Sullivan, vaudeville founder Tony Pastor, and the lovely Stanford White designed Bowery Savings Bank, which fortunately is landmarked and is still standing as the Bowery's most famous icon just north of Grand Street. I just wanted to now show you a few slides. Unfortunately, they don't have PowerPoint at the Film Forum, and so they were nice enough to put it in this beta video system, and I did the timing too slow. Oh, okay. That's the Bowery Savings Bank there, and most of those buildings are still there or of the same height. Same location. That's Bowery Savings Bank on the left there. And streetcars. First streetcar in America started on the Bowery. That's the Bowery Theater, which later changed its name to Thalia. This is a Bowery concert hall, which you're going to see in both films tonight. No women in the audience. And these were the dime museums that even little street urchins could afford to go into. That's Lillian Russell. And the Bowery Mission, still doing great work today. And here's the poster. This is from a play that Steve Brody was in, playing himself. Chuck Connors did the same thing. And there's Brody. Notice at the top, the bridge, it says Bridge Jumper. And that's the real Chuck Connors, and I think Wallace Beery's awesome in the movie The Bowery. And notice the dress style of the Bowery boy. That's for real. And I was going to say again that I had no control over the speed of the slides, but the image of the Bowery boy and gal, the really cocky, in-your-face dress style and so forth, in marked contrast to. Thank you. Anyway, I'll shut up. And I just wanted to say, last year, the Film Forum brought back the amazing documentary on the Bowery, which is soon to come out on DVD. And tonight they're taking us on a wild ride through the gay 90s Bowery. And we thank the Film Forum for keeping this colorful history alive. And I don't think he's here tonight, but I wanted to say a special note of thanks to Bruce Goldstein, the programmer for the repertory, who lives just off the Bowery. Bruce, you are an honorary Bowery boy. Thank you.